into a Divergent Dice story so far, just consequences recap. This is part 2, basically covering the second year of this campaign. It's been going for a little over a couple years now. Man, time flies. We are joined tonight with a couple people so far. We have other people who will probably be dropping in later, but we've got Anticatherial, who has played Tooth and Thaddeus and Tooth in Consequences, and we've got Ari Boberry, who loves Consequences. Not in it yet.
Yeah.
See that face?
I don't know. Consequences is questionable group.
Wow. Questionable group.
Yeah, I don't know how to take that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to take that either.
Also,
sure I
she's
don't
probably
like
right.
Thaddeus.
I mean,
Aw.
yeah, poor Thaddeus.
Yeah,
He's happy.
We love
He's
him.
living his best life with his family.
that's right.
Somewhere, sometime.
Yep. Hey, I like it.
He got
You got the sometime part right.
Yeah.
he got
well,
the Elmira special.
Yeah.
well,
Who doesn't love Consequences? I know, right?
they're great.
Yep.
I think they
Oh.
embody. Well, can't say that because my life is pure chaos. But it's like the chaos I live every day, playing out in a fantasy world.
Mhm.
I mean,
tracks.
I don't know to what extent because we don't cut off any arms, but that's okay.
I mean,
Well,
Do
I
you?
not with that attitude.
Not yet.
yeah, that's what we like to call Quitter talk.
Kodo. Hee hee.
Oof.
Okay, so where we left off. After the story so far, part 1, we had just picked up what was the kind of final party member. They had secured Thaddeus, broken him out of a kind of imprisonment, / being held for questioning. They had found and kind of reactivated Chrome, and then they made a hasty retreat from the city of Pomerty, because several of them were wanted for a variety of crimes, including breaking Thaddeus out of prison and attacking a number of guards. They booked it out of town, managed to evade the Pomerty Sentinels that patrolled the forest through some clever use of invisibility, great stealth rolls, and wild shapes. And they found themselves outside of the border forest, presumably safe. They kind of collected themselves, found out a little bit more about Chrome, who no one really had any info on, but he was there to stop the 3, and that was good enough for them. Simple party introductions. Ari knows all about them. They're all people always really welcoming when you have to introduce a new character. There's never any questions. They were heading towards Twin Stop, and figured they would just set up for the night. They knew that they had to get this unending chalice. No one knew where it was, and it had been basically lost to time. But they had received some information from some of their powerful allies that while he might not have the chalice, an entity named Brumalthazar had a place where they could get one. He controlled realm, kind of like a pocket dimension, that was referred to as the Thought Palace. And there was an artifact that if you controlled it and you were inside the Thought Palace, you could manifest anything you wanted. So, with the help of their powerful allies, they... Well, do you have something to... Go ahead, Ari. You're on mute, but, like, that face has questions.
Dang it. This face definitely has questions. So first of all, I have so many questions about this Thought Palace, because I did not get to enjoy the insanity that ensued inside Thought Palace.
Mm-hmm.
But I have heard many a tale following it. Can we highlight it, because it feels significant, and the number of mentions and circle backs. I mean, it wasn't just about getting this chalice, right? There were a number of things that happened while in this Thought Palace.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
So,
a lot of,
so what all happened?
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh no! I need to know. This place is. I mean, everyone's like, it's just this crazy. It's like, it is what it is. It's this dude's thought mine.
Yeah. So, the party went to sleep. They had a conversation with Valvosi, who is, for lack of a better term, kind of like a demigod. And she's in the service to a god who is very much opposed to one of the big bad in the three that they were trying to deal with. She is very much opposed to Lomasars, who is a very evil god, trying to basically end the world. So Valvosi said she could send the party to the Thought Palace, but she couldn't get them out. They would have to find their own way out. And the party was like, great, sounds good. Sign us up. I think that tracks, Lucas, right? That was pretty much like...
Yep.
Yeah. That is like the theme of Consequences, though.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you have to go to this place. I mean, it might die. But they're like, sounds great. We'll catch you all when we get back. Let's just skedaddle.
Yeah. Yeah, Thaddeus. And Thaddeus, his character was very learned and, passed on a lot of information about, like, what things might be like there, how not everything might be as it seems. Like, he was armed with a great deal of information. In they went. Chrome was forcibly put to sleep. He was very upset about it. He ended up in the Thought Palace as well. And when they started, it looked, not too bad. Little hallway, pretty normal stuff. Weird kind of glowy light everywhere. Almost like had like a Fae-esque like lighting vibe. But like, okay, it's indoors. A little bit weird. They progressed through. They found like a seating area where, I think they found some information pertaining to, it looked like, humanoids would be there. Like, I think someone rolled high enough on something to determine that, maybe this is like some initiates or like cultists who are like going through some trials in this Thought Palace. Then they rounded the corner, and things got a little bit more weird. They ended up, we're gonna do some crazy things on the fly here. Sorry, stream. I think a visual will be helpful, so we're just gonna go crazy.
Never seen it, friends.
Never seen it. Okay.
Hold on. Wait, I have to open the stream.
Yeah, you do. Boop.
Look how
Bear with me, guys.
fancy.
Yeah. I'll make this so it doesn't look quite as awful, and I'll zoom in so you can see it better. But give me 1 second. We do things live and on the fly here, guys. So just, we just have to deal.
I remember
Conse-
that.
Consequences gets all the cool maps.
I mean, they do get cool maps.
They
That is
do.
true.
Finder's got to throw together garrison.
You got to throw in together garrison. If you guys stop doing things that aren't, that are so far like from the, oh yeah, they're gonna go and talk and enlist someone's help. Oh no, they're fighting a garrison. Okay, yeah, okay, no problem.
This is really cool, though.
Okay, good enough. That'll work.
Yeah.
And do. Okay, bam. All right, so zoom in. So they came around here. This is where they kind of found this like seating area where they figured, okay, maybe it was like an initiate, like prep waiting area. They came into this room. This is where things got a little bit weird. This whole river here is basically, it wasn't liquid totally. It almost seemed like it was like flowing like energy. The party was like, nope, don't like that. So they were like, we'll go round. Like, no, we're gonna go round. So they started exploring. They explored in a very unique way. They took some interesting navigational choices. So first, they came down this way. They found a little puzzle area here. There was these 4 wormling statues in the corner, and an altar in the middle. Okay. They investigated for a bit. Nah.
Is everyone seeing this?
Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. I know who that is. We'll see you soon, unless you're coming now. In which case, welcome in. And the party was like trying to figure out. They were like they were super suspicious of these like dragon statues, but like nothing seemed to happen. Okay, cool. We'll just leave these statues alone. Went into the next room. And then there was a puzzle with some different paintings on the wall and a chest in the middle. And they didn't solve the puzzle. At least not in the expected approached way.
There's a
Okay.
shock.
Yeah, there was a shock. But Thaddeus and Thanwyn, they're thinkers. They're like, you know what would be great? Not being in the room with this chest and this puzzle. We're gonna stay in the other room. That other room, because it's safe. So then all the dragons
Aww.
all breathed fire into the middle of the room where they were standing. But Thaddeus had a little trick up his sleeve. He had an item that let him use his reaction to throw some of the damage that he took at someone else, a friend. So he gave Thanwyn a bit of the business. But they were fine, just a little bit warm. Fuck that cape. Yeah, it was indeed a cape. Ole.
I didn't know you had that.
Yeah.
It was pretty. Well, I mean, I thought it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Thaddeus
Yeah,
used it
it
a lot.
is.
Yeah.
I would too.
So then they opened up this door, as one does
Mhm.
after, they killed the dragons. And they looked out and were like, more water stuff. Nope, not going that way. So they backed up, went back up here. They were like, oh yeah, there's water here too. Don't like that. Nope, we're going this way. So they started to explore. Keep in mind, they left the door open down here. Yep, this door that was closed. They opened it, didn't close it. That will become important later on.
That's good. Yeah.
So they enter into this room. This room was the happiest room they had found in the history of everything. They entered into this room and it had books on shelves. And I asked them, they're like, oh, can I check the shelves for a book on, what? I was like, yeah, you find exactly the book you're looking for. They were like, amazing.
Oh,
And,
so creepy.
and then Thaddeus was like, I look for this book. It's right there. You grab it.
Oh, this is giving me like Labyrinth vibes. I hate it and love it.
They spent a lot of time in that room grabbing books.
Oh,
And then things started happening. There were some very large. What were they called again, Lucas?
Oh, chulls.
Yeah.
Yeah, like crap walking things.
I probably have them archived. Hold on, let's find out. Because they were so fun. We'll find them.
Fun is a strong word.
yeah. I'm beginning to think that you and I spell fun differently.
I focus
I
on
don't
the
think
FU portion.
Yeah, that's what I'm
No
thinking.
lie. No lie. I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't find them right now, but it's basically a giant
Oh no.
crab, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because they left the door open, the crowds were like, ooh, doo, 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 and came up
Yeah.
and got to like right here.
Hmm.
The party also, as parties do, decided they were going to like check this way while some people were in the library. Some people were in this room. Because, like, if you're gonna split the party, it's best to split it into 3 groups.
Yeah.
Sure.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude. Parties that split into 2 groups get killed.
Yeah. So they ran up here into this lovely room, currently labeled 4. There was a bunch of initiates who were in the process of doing some shady things. They alerted the initiates to their presence, and then were like, oh, shoot. We should go now. So they ran. So unsurprisingly, the initiates ran after them. Weird, right? Thanwyn and Thaddeus eventually left the library and hid behind this altar. I believe Thaddeus used minor illusion to try and hide in the altar, or make it look like he was the altar. Thanwyn rolled fucking, I don't know, 150 on stealth or something, so he just disappeared.
Yeah.
But the Chulls were a bit of a problem because they're scary. And there was all these initiates, and they were also scary. And the party was all broken up, and they couldn't see everywhere because dynamic lighting. So people in the library couldn't see the Chulls, people in the hallway couldn't see it was just like a huge mess. But it was okay, because they had the combat killing machine of Elmira. So Elmira was like, this is no problem. Kill everything. So Elmira was up in this area and got given the business by the Chulls. To the tune of her almost being dead. And it was a great moment. I'm gonna put the tokens back on the map where they were, because this is how like drilled into my mind this is. So we had Freyr, our good friend Freyr. He was right there.
So wish he was here for this.
Yeah. He'll watch this VOD. We had Elmira. Now, she didn't quite look like this at the time, but we had Elmira.
She didn't quite look like this at the time, but we had Elmira. Didn't quite look like this at the time, but we had Elmira.
Okay. I don't know what happened there. Okay, good. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, no kidding. Echo. So Elmira comes like dashing back up the hallway near death. thinking, oh, thank God there's this healer who says no one dies on my watch all the time. And Freyr had his turn next or very shortly thereafter. And he was like, perfect. I cast Inflict Wounds at 3rd level. Notice the word inflict instead of cure. Common mistake happens to clerics all the time. Leading cause of wrongful death suits against clerics, I'm pretty sure. But yeah. So sure enough, Inflict Wounds at level 3 very much killed a near-death Elmira. Or knocked her down, didn't kill her. Seeker, up in the hallway, was like dealing with these initiates, thinking like, what the hell is going on? So he was here. He was like, this is unacceptable. We can't have Elmira dead. She kills things. I don't know what's wrong with Freyr, but this isn't okay. So he threw out a healing word, picked Elmira back up. Freyr, on his turn, smashed her back down with his warhammer twice.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
very dramatic. Yeah.
Hey, it's a Shannon. Welcome in, Shannon. Here, let's get your
Okay, so
Face-
I'm going
We were
to
just
recap while
talking
you
about
do
you.
that.
Yeah,
we're
I
just talking about
heard.
you. So just to recap, we have weird crab monsters from one direction. We have cult initiate things from another direction. We have 3 separate party groups,
Mhm.
and one of said segment is attacking each other. Well, one side of it, that segment is attacking the other side.
correct.
Great. And nobody is questioning like Freyr at this moment. We're just like,
Oh
just
no!
concerned.
People were like losing their mind with Freyr. It was like, what are you? Not
Why is
now!
this happening?
Like we're in the middle of dying. No one, stop it! Like, figure this out later. Freyr was like, nope,
okay,
she's
so
got to
they didn't-
die.
Okay, so they didn't think that it was like some weird like initiate spell or crab spell or anything. They were like, that's totally Freyr.
Oh yeah,
being
Freyr had
okay.
been talking about like, why is this clearly questionable morals, probably evil? Like she's partnered with one of the bad guys. Like we know this, and everyone was like, yeah, but she's redeemable. Amir was like, about that, maybe just no.
Yeah,
And
so the
Freyr was the
wings
only
got
one who was just
flying.
like, no. Like, why is she still alive? And he said that in character out loud, like, many times.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now everybody is just like, not now, Freyr.
Yes, not now. So then,
Let's kill the things first.
yeah.
Got it.
So then, the party's still, like, getting... Thankfully, Thaddeus busted out Hypnotic Pattern to keep the Chulls in place. They both failed their save, so they were not a problem. But now there was this, like, PvP combat plus the Initiates. The Initiates had Inflict Wounds, which was, like, tearing through Chrome. Chrome was, like, up, down, trying to hold these guys back. Then we had our good friend Thengus. Now, for those of you who remember Thengus, Thengus died, like hard died before he died. He got killed by a dragon. And he came back. Dragon gave him a little mark on his forehead for his trouble. Happened to be the sigil of a dark evil god. No one really questioned it. There was talk about, dealing with it at different times, but like other priorities, right? So sometimes Thengus got told to do things, and he got told very specifically to save Elmira.
Oh.
So Thengus strolls up with his, little wizardy self, grabs Elmira, and wait, well, Kodo's broken.
Notice. I've never heard this. I mean, I knew that actually. I didn't know he was told to do it.
Oh yeah, Lomasar didn't
What?
want Elmira to die.
Okay.
She was, a driving force for one of the 3. So, Thengus runs up to Elmira, Thunder steps away, blasts the party, because Thunderstep doesn't care who's standing beside you.
Sure.
So Thangus teleports away into lovely room number 6. Down
Oh,
here.
like super far away.
Oh yeah. And DM playing the long game. You got it, KP.
You
At
talked
this
about the
point-
fire elemental yet?
No, because you're unconscious at this point.
We
You
haven't
busted
gotten
out
to
the
that
fire
part of the
elemental
story.
yet.
Ah,
That was a magic part.
Yeah. So
I thought it was before this. Yeah.
So when you, Shannon, when Thingus grabbed Elmira and was like, "See ya," were you sitting there like, "See ya, thank you. I'm gonna die first. Gonna kill me."
Oh yeah, I was shocked. I wasn't expecting Thingus to do it. So like, yeah, the relief that went through me was like, whoo.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love it.
so
I love it so much.
Thangus reappears with Elmira. Gives her a healing potion, gets her back on her feet, and no one knows where they went because they don't know where he teleported to. So
Oh.
they're all like, well, okay, initiates. Maybe Freyr, like, oh my god, what is going on? So Elmira, being the one to really let bygones be bygones and like, talk this out,
Totally.
Yeah, obviously.
on her next turn, after she's conscious with her like 6 hit points to spare, she's looks up, thanks Thangus, casts invisibility, and then just like walks away. Yeah, she wasn't walking away. She like walked over a little bit and then was like, huh, I'm going to use my fancy brazier of fire elemental summoning to summon a fire elemental. And the instruction for the fire elemental will be kill the dwarf.
No, Shannon.
Hell yeah.
Fun fact, using the item doesn't make her not invisible, so Shannon's just living her best life as Elmira,
Oh.
strolling around, while this fire elemental comes strolling up the hallway towards the party, who is almost done with the initiates, hasn't dealt with the chulls yet, and have no idea where their wizard went, or the warlock who maybe is fighting them. They don't know. And so now there's a fire elemental that's been added to the mix. So
Great.
that session
great.
wrapped up around there. Like, oh my god. Then we had 2 weeks to like ponder this insanity that had played out. So I had talked with Shannon. I was like, what's Elmira doing? Like, you're in a thought palace with no way that you know of out, with like a party maybe trying to kill you. You're trying to there's a lot going on. And Shannon can kind of explain her thought process there, hopefully. If Shannon forgets, I know what happened.
I think you should explain it because I
Okay. So
it was an emotional time.
it was an emotional time. That's a fair assessment. So Shannon said, she's like, well, Elmira realizes that she's like fucked. Like she's at like 6 HP. She can't take on the whole party right now. She's gonna like petition her patron, be like, get me out of here. Worth a shot. So I like pondered. I was like, okay, he's really invested in Elmira. Okay, cool. We'll make that happen. But I like told Shannon, I was like, there will be a cost. And Shannon, like, as Elmira was like, done, get me out of here. So Shannon, that was the last time they ever saw the body that was Elmira until Twin Stop, or until Wexforth.
No. See, there's the thing. I have not been around too long, but I have learned one thing. Anytime Trevor says, this thing is going to happen, and you just say, yeah, sure, whatever. No. would just sign up. There's always like parts 1 through 4 that are on the table.
The consequences.
And I've always learned with Trevor, ask more questions, clarify, and
No, I'm along for the ride.
No.
Yeah. This is very much akin to the exchange you and I had, Ari, about Tutu, about the backstory. You were like, hey, I thought it would be really cool if this. Sounds great.
Instant regret.
Yeah?
Instant regret.
You guys are in for a treat.
So much regret.
But
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Treat may not be the right word there.
so Elmira's next kind of moment, she is standing in front of Ugrinos in his realm, his own kind of little corner of a pocket dimension. Definitely not as nice as Thought Palace or Valvosi's. Burny flames, not great. And Elmira looks down. She's not in her body.
Ooh.
She is in a succubus body.
So like your soul got like ripped out?
Yeah. He ripped out her consciousness,
Ooh.
left her body.
That's no
Yeah.
bueno.
Yeah. So Elmira was like, thanks. This is great. You know, he was less impressed. A, that he had to intervene. B, that she hadn't gotten the chalice that she was meant to. Hadn't dealt with the party who's been ruining all of the plans. And Elmira was trying to like smooth it over, being like, yeah. Everything's fine. Like, I'm on it. Yeah, so he lopped off both of her wings. It was
In the new succubus body.
yeah. He lopped them both off.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
He was angry.
I mean, but she didn't have wings before.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Her net amount of wings from like old body to like current was unchanged.
Sure. So it wasn't like insulting, right? It wasn't like
She briefly had +2 wings, but then
great.
then didn't.
Got it.
So she said, "Send me back. I'll deal with them. I'll take care of it."
Oh. So
Good game.
Is Shannon. This is Shannon saying this, or do you now have control over Elmira?
No, this is Shannon.
Shannon. You were like, send me
I was
in.
just having fun with at that
Send me
point.
in,
I
Coach.
knew that she didn't know that much time left. So like I was like, I'm just gonna run with this as it is and have fun with it.
Yeah, and Shannon and I talked like
fascinating.
all along at like kind
Yeah.
of these pretty pivotal like decision moments for Elmira, like all the way from like level 1 and 2.
Yeah,
Where-
he checked in with me regularly
Yeah.
to make sure I was on board.
It was like, okay, so like we're both on the same page that like this decision tree like ends in you fighting the party, right? And like there's 6 of them and there's 1 of you, just to be clear. She's like, yeah, I know.
Like for a long time that did kind of tear me up a bit because I was like I really did like Elmira and I was still fairly new to D&D where the thought of fighting the party wasn't quite as,
Enjoyable.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I got more into that idea.
So now we'll pause. That was Elmira's perspective. She's going to get sent back to deal with the party.
Okay.
So now we switch
Got
back to the party's perspective in the Thought Palace. They narrowly defeat these enemies. They
Oof.
clean them all up. They find Thengus, who Thengus has fucked off, and he's over here sitting in this room, like being like, "Hey, are you guys like mad at me?" Like,
Wait, he went through the weird water essence stuff?
oh no, he like Misty stepped over there, like he ensured he didn't touch it.
Oh, Thangus.
Yep.
Oh,
So he was
we
like-
do miss you.
Are we good? Like They were like, what? Why? Ugh. because he didn't help with the rest of the fight. He was just like, see
No,
ya.
sure. Yeah.
So
So did his mind control thing end as soon as Elmira went invisible?
yeah, he just got told to save her. He saved her. That was the end of the
Mind
infliction for
control.
him.
He did it voluntarily.
I have said it before and I'll say it again. Jim is one of my favorite people to watch play this game.
Yep.
The sheer chaos of that choice. I absolutely love it. It's so
Yeah.
good.
And
Yeah.
meta-wise, you kept all the players in the dark about what was going on with Elmira, so they had no idea either what was
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, the players didn't know she had got a new body. They didn't know she was back,
Wow.
and we'll see why that's important soon.
So all of that happened with Elmira is happening while they're fighting
Yeah, like parallel time, but like
in a
no
different
one
place.
knows what's happened.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Very cool.
the party eventually is like, okay, fine, we're gonna like get across this water. It seems like it's everywhere. Can't get to where we need to go. Thaddeus can fly for a little bit, so Thaddeus like scouts out the water. It's like, okay, it seems to be coming from that way, but there's no way through, and it seems to go this way, but you know, there's another entry point to a different hallway, but I'm not sure. And they both ultimately get into room 7. Everyone gets in here. The party manages to get across. They all made their saves, which they needed to. I think it was an int save to avoid bad things. And if you rolled high enough, you actually could get good things from interacting with the flowy energy water. So they're in this room 7. And they hear in this room, in room 8, someone kind of like crying out for help. They managed to get the door open, and they saw I think it was a gnome, little tiny gnome, kind of stuck in the corner, with like horribly wounded. And the party was like, oh, okay, well, we'll go and help him. And he was like, no, there's traps. Like, there's traps. That's what happened to everyone else who died in this room.
Oh.
Quick correction. Help me out, Kodo.
I thought it was a halfling. But
Okay, could be a halfling. I'll give you halfling. It was one of the small folk.
So initially, we found out about the gnome because when Thaddeus was flying around, he saw him off to the side.
Right.
So he was scouting out the river. When he went up towards 8 first, he saw the gnome and he spoke to him first.
Right. Thank you. You are absolutely correct, because the wall was gone in that area. So, Thanwyn and Thaddeus.
Toto,
Thank you.
Yep, the disembodied voice of Kodo. Thank you.
omnipotent voice.
So,
God, is that you?
Thanwyn and Thaddeus are like, hey, we'll just disarm these traps as we go. Great. So they started, and they had to get to this halfling who was back in the corner. And what happened, Lucas?
Oh no.
I don't really like to talk about it.
No?
We're gonna force you though.
Oh, I failed a whole bunch of perception checks or investigation checks. So like I took a step on a trap. I think it was a spike trap, and it crushed like one of my legs, but like no big, right? And then I was like, oh, okay, well then let me try this other square, which also had a trap, and I didn't roll high enough on my perception, so I stood on it and got double crushed legs. So Trevor basically said, like, congratulations, your legs are, permanently crushed until they heal. Roll a die. And I rolled like really high on the die, and he's like, yeah, so they're crushed for 7 weeks. So I think I had like 10 off my move.
Yeah,
Freyr was beating me in races,
Your max
which
speed
really
was
sucked.
20.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
For like 2 or 3 sessions, maybe for a bunch of sessions.
So, like, Thaddeus basically, like, put his legs in a wood chipper, effectively.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
Lucas.
like a bear trap that concealed a wood chipper.
Yeah.
It was bad news.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So,
Can you just imagine that for a second, of that poor little gnome in the corner who is just given this warning of like, that's how everybody died,
Yeah.
and then is like watching this dude like get his leg ground down as he's trying
I was like,
to
I was like, maybe they were getting killed, okay? But it's hero time, and I'm a hero.
Not
So
me.
step back, everybody, because heroes are going to do hero things. Crunch, crunch. And now heroes are going to cry.
So, Thaddeus and
bleeding
Thanwyn
heroically.
ultimately managed to get the halfling out. Thaddeus, though, was, a third less leggy than he used to be.
Mm.
The party then was like, okay, we're going to go through this door, finish exploring, because, we have to find this thing. The only reason we came here. And the party was like, we're not meant to sleep here. This was meant to be like an in and out. They felt they only had 8 hours to finish this.
Oh, there was a time?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it like a consequence? Like, don't spend more time than that because this thing will happen?
It was basically so Bermalthazar sort of phases out. He kind of because he's got a lot of stuff that he has to look out for. So when he's looking out for certain things, over here, he's not paying attention to what's going on in his thought palace. So we thought our window for him being kind of sleepy was about 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got that information based on Seeker, when Seeker was captured by Brumalthazar. He had noticed that Brumalthazar seemed to be quite distracted periodically. And
Yeah.
Mike asked a lot of good questions and figured out the cycle was around 8 hours. So
Okay.
they came up this way, met a lovely Gynosphinx. Who
the what?
Gynosphinx?
It's the female sphinx.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
What, hasn't everybody met a gynosphinx at one time or another?
For heroes like you, I'm sure it's pretty common.
So
Right.
there were some riddles, some questions.
Okay.
The party did, in fact, answer the questions correctly and didn't try and attack it, which was yeah. It's funny. These sphinxes, in all the times I've used them, no one's fought them. So I mean, they're sufficiently scary that the party's like, nope, we'll do what it says.
Sphinxes like cats, like lions.
They have some lionid features.
We haven't tried to bring one along yet as a pet.
I'm thinking that Tutu probably wouldn't get along very well with any like creatures.
Yeah.
I don't know that she's met one.
Probably not.
Out of curiosity. Anyway, riddles. Great.
Yeah. So they answer the riddles. Great.
Cool.
Also, just on the pet front, for you guys, I mean, it has an intelligence of 18, a wisdom of 18, and a charisma of 18. So it's a pretty mindful creature if you want to try and make it a pet.
Okay.
Yep. But they get past it. Perfect. They've got their friend Takrit, the halfling, and they ultimately make their way to the kind of central chamber of the Thought Palace.
So
And-
wait. Takrit?
Takrit. Not to be confused
Not
with
Tak.
Tak.
Different than Tak,
Different than
who is
Tak.
also small
But Tak's a goblin.
in that timeline.
Tak's always a goblin.
I never know what to believe anymore. Less annoying than Tak. Okay, less annoying than Tak. I got it.
Yeah, Takrit was less annoying than Tak. So they get into this room.
Okay.
They start looking around. There's evidence of some experimentation. There's all of these weird thorn bramble vines on the ceilings and walls. And eventually, avatar, almost translucent kind of image of Brumalthazar shows up. And then the party actually spoke with him. They didn't just attack. It was very interesting. Freyr was like, hey, so I need to go and kill Elmira. She's partnered with Udrinos, who apparently you don't like. So, like, just, like, give me something and I'll go take care of her. And Brumalthor was like, okay, here you go. Here's the fancy Warhammer for you. I'll send you back and you can go kill her. And
Again, with the no questions.
Freyr was like, gimme. So Freyr got it. Poof. Freyr's gone.
Wow. So he transported him out?
Yep. Now, this is where things get a little bit more spicy, because now they're down one of their highest damage dealers. They're down their healer. They're off. One of their off healers basically has no legs. And Chrome decides. What did Chrome decide to do again, Coda? Still here?
We will all wait in awkward silence while you type it out. Oh, good.
He's in Discord.
Chrome saw the thing that they were told to get floating in the middle of this semi-translucent Malthazar, and in his all-knowing wisdom decided, let me just reach out and grab it.
Oh.
And then sucker punched Brumalthazar in the face.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like a Chrome thing to do, really.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Sure.
very much
Consider-
on brand.
Yeah.
So, that kicked off some fight.
Sure.
They managed to beat this image or avatar of Brumalthazar. And then they had the Corundrum, which was the artifact they needed to try and, like, control reality in this place. So,
Oh, from the person who sent them there.
yeah.
Okay.
So they had this item, perfect. Seeker's like, okay, I'm going to use it. I'm going to make the chalice. So there was a few rolls. There was a threshold that he needed to hit on, I think it was, he was rolling D100s. And there was a number that he needed to hit before he had a certain number of attempts. Seeker was one roll away from everyone just being dead. No chalice.
Oh.
You have no way out of here. The Corundum's busted. Good luck. But
Whoa.
just got it on the last attempt. And they get out. They wake up. Freyr, in the, 20 minutes or so more time that he had, wakes up. First thing he does, sees Elmira's like sleeping body and turns her head into pulp with his brand new Warhammer.
The consciousless, soulless.
Well, he didn't know that. It just looked like a
Sure.
sleeping Elmira.
Sure. Yeah, he's just
I
assuming
mean,
that she's
okay,
probably
so
still
like
there.
tactically, that is the best Elmira to smash. Like,
Yeah.
like,
True. True.
and by that I mean hit repeatedly with a warhammer.
Yeah. Pulverize.
Yeah,
So,
better
Did
word.
you ever roll for hotness on Elmira?
Puree.
I mean, her
You're
charisma was like 20.
Yeah, dude. At one time I actually made the joke. It's like we should call it, instead of consequences, we should be Elmira and the Chuds.
You did say that. Yeah.
So, the rest of the party gets up, regains their bodies, sees Freyr, like, standing over Elmira, like, blood just, like, and gore dripping off his brand new, Fey, Thorn, Viney themed Warhammer. And they're like,
Sure.
did you just... And that's when I messaged Freyr and was like, oh yeah, by the way, one of the attributes of that weapon is you no longer can lie.
I love the 0 questions. I'm
Yeah.
here for it.
Yeah.
Totally here
He
for
was
it.
like, I hit her. I don't know if she was dead already. I was like, yeah,
Clever.
okay, that's fair. It's true.
Yeah.
So the party was like, okay, well, we got the chalice. Freyr, like, what the fuck? he explained like she was evil, like evil, killed an evil person. Deal with it. And everyone was like, I guess so.
Okay, so that right there though, okay, that is one of the reasons I love watching Consequences, because you guys are like the most even-keeled group while playing D&D in the face of sheer mayhem. Somebody could be doing the most insane thing, and everybody is like, oh great, yeah. Understood. Let's keep going. We'll circle back to that. Yeah. Put a pin in that for us. We'll come back.
Yeah.
And it is fascinating because me as a player, I'm very animated. So I love seeing the table where you guys all know each other. And it's like, yeah, that seems about right. Okay, so anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
I love it.
Tooth built up a whole bunch of rationalization about Almira. He was under the impression that, she was doing all this stuff against her will, right? She was the damsel in distress getting, told to do the bad things by the mean guy that we're going to kick the shit out of anyway. So let's just get on with the shit kicking.
Tooth is like the friend that we all need.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Yeah. And it's interesting because of the turn of events, which might come out in, a look back 4, lots of stuff are going on with him right now. And then Thaddeus had only been in with the group for like literally, a day or two, right? So he doesn't understand, but he sees this group as his way to like, ultimate cosmic artifacts and power and stories, right? Because he's a bard.
So remind me and the audience real quick. So we pick up that Thaddeus just appears.
Thaddeus was in Pomerty. He was sort of like a guest of the state. And
they found out that he had information.
Yeah. He was there because he was trying to get information on an artifact he was researching, and Pomerty had an extensive library. So he was kind of like being diplomatically segregated until they got around to him. And then the party just stumbled on him, and Thaddeus is like, well, speaking of no one's looking, and he just left with them.
Have information, we'll make friend.
Yeah.
And then they just find Chrome, activate him.
In a box.
Chrome and Freyr were in prison together.
Yeah.
Deactivated Chrome was in prison.
Yeah, basically, like, Freyr was in, like, it's in Pomerty, so it's like a forest palisade type deal, where he was the one who got caught when they were busting Thaddeus out. And when they locked him up, there was this, like, in the corner of the area, there was kind of this vined and weeded off place that, upon closer inspection, had grown around Chrome.
Okay, so we pick up these two beings, travel to a weird imagination land, fight a whole bunch of stuff. These two brand new people watch a party member try to kill another party member, and then don't ask any questions and just roll with it.
Are you trying to bring this back to Envy, where we don't accept her when she walks up?
No. I'm trying to make sense of everyone comes out of Dreamland, right? They see a party member attacking or killing or maiming another party member. 2 of them are brand new and have spent less than a day with the group and are just like, okay, yeah.
Well, okay, so Thaddeus wasn't that's okay. Thaddeus was more like,
Dang it, Penny.
his lust for, magic and items and stories and that kind of stuff made him kind of turn a blind eye. It was kind of like, well, all families fight at Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? And and before he could really sort of voice anything, like Almira was no longer Almira. So,
Well, and you wouldn't have really known her to know.
No.
Well, and this is where things get interesting. So Chrome was a little bit torn up about it.
Well,
like,
before you go into that, my question for you, and I realize this is a consequence wrap up, but did you want to throw in like the tie-in from Darkwind?
Which tie-in?
The tie-in where Sky and Grawl are in the and we hear the banging.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting.
Because that was like one of my favorite moments when,
I love that you brought that up because one of my questions, my ongoing questions, and I don't know, Shannon tried to answer this, was those crossover points between Consequences and Dark Winds, and what those times actually were.
So the absolute biggest change, there's been 2 changes that were very notable. One when Elmira died.
Oh.
And one when Sazeo died.
Like died or like died?
Well, in
You'll have to hear more.
In Sazeo's case, Sazeo never existed as a result of the actions the party took.
Yeah.
Okay.
That had a dramatic effect. Like, they erased one of the 3 from ever happening. And in the Elmira case, them killing Elmira led to Ugrinos losing the fight that Cirrus led the ship in.
Adrenos is the big devil thing, that the body of the devil thing that Cirrus and his group was fighting against with Azvaraja. Tie-ins within tie-ins within tie-ins.
Is this
It's so
how you
awesome.
guys feel during the campaigns when these moments
Yes.
happen?
That's why Freyr's nose is
Yeah.
constantly bleeding.
Oh yeah, like I think Shannon and I are both in all 3 games, right?
Mhm.
So we get to kind of, and sometimes we'll whisper back and forth like, I think I know what this is. Yeah, it's so much fun.
So
It really is.
Be part of the cool kids?
yeah, so you asked about Chrome. So we'll do this tie-in.
Oh yes.
So in Darkwind, fairly early on, once we kind of revived Darkwind, because it was originally a campaign with more people, different set, but then we kind of revived it with a different party. The 4 players at that point were in Osteron, where Eno Darren was establishing the Order of Statera and working to combat the 3, and basically he was like, we're worried about spies. If you want to see more than, like, you know, the surface stuff, you got to take this oath. There's like a ceremony, and then you'll be able to go wherever you want. Spenny on Laurelin and Haruta were like, fuck that noise. Like, hard pass.
Track. That tracks.
Grawl and Sky were like, well, okay.
Oh, Kodrin, correction.
Oh, yeah, it was Kodrin. Laurelin
It was
also would have passed, though, Spenny. Let's be real.
Yeah,
She totally would.
Kodrin wasn't living in an ashtray at that point.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Mm.
they end up taking this oath, Grawl and Sky, no issue. They get shown to this futuristic place. They like pass through a door, and they're in a time that doesn't look like their own. They explore for a bit,
Merlin.
and Grawl finds this big, almost like a blast door for the best kind of visual. And Grawl gets it open, at least a little.
He's a beast.
He's like holding this thing open so Sky can look through. And they start to hear this like clanging and like banging coming from inside the room. Grawl's like, fuck. And like, you know, jumps out of the way. The door slams shut again. And they hear this like loud like thudding on the other side of the door. That's Chrome.
What?
Yeah, so when we heard all the thudding, we ran up and we told all the gnomes, like, we think there's something behind that door, blah, 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 blah. And then we went, away. And then all of a sudden, in a different game, in this box where Seeker was, is the same, Warforged that Sky saw in the previous game. Yeah.
How freaking cool is that?
It's over.
Yeah,
That
it
is
was
so
super
cool.
awesome.
But
So-
how does that work? If
So
it's
they went
like,
to Somwen when Chrome was being worked on,
Time fuckery.
and
Yeah.
then Chrome got sent back to try and stop the 3. But the targeting was not quite right.
Yeah, so he got basically sent into that box where for however long, centuries, eons, who knows, vines and plants grew around him and over him, and then Seeker was put in there, and
Or
one
Freyr.
thing led to another.
Yeah.
Or Freyr, sorry, was put in there, and one thing led to another.
character freaking cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, the party's like, okay, well, Freyr, you know, I get it. You think she was evil. Chrome's like, I don't know about these people. They all seem insane, but they're trying to kill the 3, so, like, I'm sticking with them for now.
Yeah.
So they proceed to go west towards Twin
Oh.
Stop.
You missed them using the chalice for the first time.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
I think that was my first stream.
Okay, so yeah,
Oh.
see, they wanted to try and see what happened with Elmira. So they they entered into the find out portion of the fuck around with time, even after they were told maybe don't use this unless you really have to.
Yeah. Again, no
we're
questions.
we're fucking heroes. Okay, it's hero time.
Sure.
Your
Sure.
time?
What could go wrong?
So
Who-
Seeker
when you're a
basically
hero, why
like
would you ask questions?
rewound time very locally to see
Okay.
what happened. All he could tell was that Freyr showed up, smashed Elmira's head in, didn't see any reaction from Elmira before or after, but they used the chalice, which mattered. There was, in the background, there is a counter going every time they used the chalice, and depending on what they used it for, there was influenced how much it would go up, and there was a threshold where bad things would start happening. Yeah, the party ultimately passed that threshold.
Yes.
So they head towards Twin Stop, but they need to rest. They're tired. They haven't had much sleep. They find a lovely little homestead. It happened to have a very large horse outside at the time. So just some context on this damn large horse that will always haunt me. So, as a DM, I am generally terrible at doing prep work ahead of time. I have time, but like, where's the fun in doing the prep work on like a day or two before when you can do it 20 minutes before? So, I was talking with Shannon the day of, and I was like, so, like, what are you thinking? She's like, well, I'm going to, lay in wait, and, I'm going to try and do this and do this. And I was like, oh, I need a map. I need a map right now. And I was like, okay, throw something together. So I threw something together super fast. It's great, except for that the scale was off by like a factor of 4. So like the horse was probably 40 feet long. Like it was a big horse.
You missed a golden opportunity to just keep your face completely straight and go, yeah, it's a Clydesdale, and then just move on.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a dragon horse. Shut up. So they find this nice little homestead. Elmira has changed her form because fun succubus powers. She basically paid dad and his son, who were living there, to like fuck off.
Nope, I didn't kill them.
Didn't kill them. She very well could have, but she was like, get out of here. The dad was like,
Yeah.
maybe. And she was like, get the fuck out. Here's some money. Go away. The dad decided that was probably a good idea. And getting soft. So then Shannon laid in wait. She looked around for poison. Rolled poorly. It didn't find any.
Aw.
This is why he thought he needed a map suddenly.
Yeah. She's like, well, if there's no poison, I'm gonna take a more direct approach. Okay. so party comes in. Thaddeus drags his cheese grater legs into the bedroom to have a rest. Thanwyn like goes with them,
Yeah.
like just being tapped. The rest of them kind of like hang out, sit around the table. Shannon's illusory form is like, I'll make you some dinner. Goes into the kitchen. Comes out like fireball.
Yeah.
And Thangus.
Yep.
Thangus with the clutchest of counterspells I think that has ever been used in this campaign was like, I counterspell. And I was like, oh boy. So then Shannon,
My gnome was fully rested, whereas everybody else came out of the palace that day and had like no spell slots left.
Yeah.
And
Right.
yeah, so it was a good opportunity. It made the fight pretty close. So Shannon summoned her fire elemental again. She like threw down. She used her new succubus charm, and
Ooh.
she charmed Freyr.
So interesting fun fact. As we've learned, much to Kodo's incredible happiness, he should have been the target for the charm. Because that
Yeah.
fight would have been totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like night and day different.
So, but this was what was hilarious about this. So, Elmira gets her succubus charm off on Freyr. Freyr is good at wisdom saves, fails.
That tracks.
I kind of played up that like your job is now to keep Elmira alive at like all costs.
like the
You-
best
you-
revenge.
You have to do everything in your power to make sure that she is alive. He's like, okay. So the party starts like railing on Elmira. Chrome's in there, like right up in her face, like, you know, carving her down. Thaddeus
Yeah.
hasn't even made it out of the bedroom yet because legs.
His legs. Yep.
Thanwyn
That's
rolled
your
bad
skill
on
of the mouth.
perception, I think. So like he was slow getting to the fight as well. But Freyr on his turn has to use life transference to like top Elmira up because she's like on the ropes. So like Freyr dishes out like 40 points of damage to himself, like healing up Elmira. Max HP, so goes another round. Freyr though gets, I think Seeker dispelled it somehow. I think it was Seeker who uncharmed Freyr. Mike would probably know for sure, but Freyr gets uncharmed before his turn happens again. And just, you know, the math, 6v1 even with the fire elemental. Chrome, as Chrome's body count of killing important characters / NPCs is actually pretty high. So Chrome knocks down Elmira, and then with his second attack, drives his greatsword through her chest on the floor, and ends Elmira.
And then 4 rounds after that, Thaddeus emerges from the bedroom.
It's true.
Yeah. And Chrome had one of the best lines of the campaign. I think we put in some of those quotes we liked on the Discord. Was, I don't know who to trust, but I know it's not you, as he impaled her to the floorboards. It was such a great moment. The party, like, kind of surveyed everything. The fire elemental was gone. They buried Elmira just like outside, simple grave. And then headed to Twin Stop. After having a rest. Twin Stop was meant
Wonder
to.
if anyone would come across that hut again.
Yeah. Yep. Eno Darren's house. What could go wrong? The hilarious thing is Twin Stop. The party had indicated, we know where we're going. We're going to get on a boat. We're going to go back up north. This is like, we got to get back up there to deal with this. This is what's going to happen. Perfect. Love it. Good plan. Shannon and I had talked. Shannon had her new character figured out. I was like, okay, well, they're going to pass through Twin Stop on their way up north. You know, fitting place for them to run into you. What do you think of this? Perfect, all good. Excellent. So, introducing Cadence, the human drunken master monk. Put together a really simple battle map. Couple thugs in an alley. Basically like kind of not like roughing up, but like hassling some of the like kids who had been like pressed into like thieving on their behalf. Like, you know, you guys didn't bring in very much today, like get your shit together. And Cadence interjects. Bit of a scuffle starts between Cadence and these thugs. The party comes in, throws down with the thugs. And like just a in passing little like mention of like, yeah, there's like a lot of crime in Twin Stop. The party was like, that's not allowed. There will be no crime in this city. We will fix it. I was like, oh. So they're like, yes. I'm like, So this was like early in the session. Like they had made it to like Twin Stop in like 20 minutes. I had like what was in Twin Stop just in case they wanted to go shopping. Oh, what?
Herbert. Shout out to Herbert.
Yeah, Herbert is in Twin Stop. But I was not expecting needing to have a fully flushed out crime syndicate at play.
Technically, all we did was go shopping for new governance. I mean,
but the party's like, okay, so what's the deal with all the crime in Twin Stop? And I was like, okay. Fun fact: DMs love it when you decide to, on the fly, have to come up with political intrigue. Demonic versus celestial crime lords. It's like, no problem, we got this. Yep, there are indeed some like
your entire other plans at the same time.
Oh yeah, like the Consequences crew, like whatever they plan, I'm just like, yeah, fuck that. I'm not even prepping for that. That's never gonna happen. It's like, we're gonna go to Ostron. Fuck you. You're not going to Ostron. Who are you kidding? It's like,
I mean, they made it to the boat.
Eventually.
yeah.
Isn't there a bounty still waiting for some of the crew back?
yeah, their first quest reward is still in fucking Narlath.
There's like 17,000 gold waiting for us.
Yeah, the joke is every time they talk about the reward, they feel like it goes up because like
it does.
It was a reward for them when they were at level 3 that was really like really
amazing
lucrative.
for level 3.
It should go up with inflation.
Yeah,
that's what I'm just charging interest.
And then you guys just didn't go back and be like, did it?
No. They took a 4-month walk across the continent instead.
I mean, that's
and had Thangus
commit
like, war crime against the basilisks and get turned into a statue for his trouble.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
You keep head with like moments to be heroic.
Yeah.
We can't constantly be murder hobos.
I mean, don't worry, guys. Every guard is going to be a level 10 adventurer soon.
Just sorry, my was that Chrome saying we can't be murder hobos? That's weird.
Right though?
You guys can't be murder hobos all the time. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Oh, okay.
I see.
Murderhobo.exe is part of your programming.
I need a drink.
I'll be the only program.
So
that Chrome is questionable.
The Twin Stop drama ends up being that there are these two kind of crime families that control like a whole district of the city. But neither one can seem to take the territory from the others, and they can't break into this third district in the city. Party
like West Side Story.
Yeah. Yeah, the party's like, okay, we'll do some recon. They scout things out. Everything's great. They decide, okay, well, we're going to deal with this one first. Cool. They make some, like, allies in town. They talk to Herbert, the proprietor of the magic shop. They talk to Lady Sarah. She's kind of like the... she's the person who actually cares about the town from a government perspective, but she's not running it. There's this Lord Hyde who is actually running the town, who doesn't seem to do anything, doesn't care about the crime, isn't willing to stop it, just kind of coast through.
Keep in mind, he came up with all of this on the spot, basically.
Yeah. So the party's like, okay, well, we're going to go to this place, this Malia's manor. It's like, okay. She was one of the crime bosses, no problem.
Okay.
So they make their way to this manor. And as one does when you go into a crime boss's mansion, you'll walk in the front door.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, we're heroes. We don't B&E.
Not like covertly. No. I open the doors. No joke. Like, the entirety. I didn't have to move any tokens. The entirety of the units that were in that combat were in the room they opened it into.
Did you mention that we actually got Herbert to like fight on our side?
Well, that was the second manor you guys went to.
Oh, okay.
You learned your lesson after the first one.
Yeah.
Kind of, not really.
Kind of, not really. So they have a fight.
We noticed
It's a spicy fight. Thanwyn loses his wallet. These things are very obsessed with money and like opulence. Like, this whole place is like decked out to the nines. And one of them has an ability where if you fail a save, it basically teleports an item no bigger than X directly to it. So it teleported Thanwyn's gold pouch. So yeah, Thanwyn got pickpocketed from like 60 feet away, and that's why you might hear him sometimes joke about a wallet. It's not a stream if Ari isn't eating something.
Look, guys, I live in the wrong time zone. All right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I agree. You do live in the wrong time zone.
I 100% live in the wrong time zone. But
In
I'm not
Aries-
alone. Thank you
In
so
Aries'
much,
defense,
Lucas.
Barry is in her name, so she's allowed to eat.
It's true. But it's not that I just eat. I like graze through the entire sessions. When it's not the actual dinner that I'm eating, then it is followed up by some kind of like French fry or churro or ice cream. Like,
I live in the right time zone, but my wife just came back with like Costco Sunday, so like I'm not turning down a Costco Sunday.
I was
Hey,
gonna ask what it was because it
never.
looks like wet peanut butter.
That's that's caramel.
I mean, it could be worse, Ari. They could be taunting
a
you
lot of
about
caramel.
all dressed chips.
Oh, they're
okay,
so
but
good.
we have a plan. They're gonna bring some down. I mean,
Yep.
I
have
will be able to
A
try
list
them.
started.
All right.
You do?
I mean, there's only 2 items on it, but
Oh, sure, yeah. You the
I
two
mean,
that we
technically,
talked
that
about.
makes a list.
You bring what is it? You bring your rockets, and I'll bring the Smarties, and we'll see which one tastes better.
No, rockets
Probably
are awful.
rockets.
No one likes them here.
So are
not that
Smarties.
kind of rocket.
O'Malley.
All right. So
Anyway.
they have this fight with Malia. Malia has this cool like portion of a staff. And Cadence, we'll call it Cadence version 1. Bold move. If you ever want to see play D&D on hard mode, play a monk, and make sure you pick con as your dump stat.
It was so bad. Oh my god.
It's only a recent
my
correction
God.
though, so
Yeah.
Cadence
you
Part 2
really?
is only recent.
Did you really?
I did.
That's amazing.
No, like
I
seriously,
love that though.
do you understand what she did? What are you?
Yeah.
I'm an archer. Cool. What kind of bow do you have? I didn't bring one.
Right, yeah. So what's your deck stat? It's my dump stat.
Yeah, yeah. What I do is I actually just throw the bow at them.
Yeah, I just take the arrow out and I sort of take the tip off and I'm like, I hope for the best.
Yeah.
She's still alive.
She's still alive.
She's
True.
still alive.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Cadence went down a lot in that fight. Like it became a meme that like there was one turn, no joke, where Cadence went down on like before her turn came back like 3 times. Like she was up, then a monster hit her, she was down. Thaddeus, healing word, she's up. She's down.
Oh yeah.
Seeker,
Oh,
healing word, she's
it
up.
was so awesome.
Freyr is like, fuck, healing word.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, she just a spell slot a dark hole.
yeah. So, anyways, they get the staff after killing Malia, and are like, okay, great. One family dealt with. And they find out that the other family now is like on the move. They just dealt with one. They dealt with the competition. So part was like, oh, shoot. Didn't think this through. Well, we gotta deal with the other family now, guys. Great. So off they go. Heroes. They were like, okay, maybe we should get some help this time, guys. Because, like, we almost all died. Like, that. Oh. So
I just got this like mental image of like, you guys know the ending scene in the Disney Robin Hood with all the animals are like lined up and they're like marching and it's like
Do I?
da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I just imagine that's what caused it, like on to the next place.
yeah. So they were like, okay, it's fine. We got this. So they talked to Lady Sarah again. She's like, I don't know. I can't give you any. I don't have an army. Like, maybe go talk to Herbert. I'll see if he'll help you. Because they had tried before and he was like, you can't afford me. And so
You should have gotten a sweet owlin in your
Yeah. We really needed one.
So Herbert goes with them to this second one. Party. This time, they walk around the house. They don't see anything, so they go in the front door. But they walked around the house first, so like, that's something.
Sure.
Dude, please talk about Fengus's familiar. Oh, it's so good. Okay, but before you talk about Fengus's familiar, has anyone seen The Crow?
No.
Specifically, Caw Caw Bang Fuck I'm Dead. Continue.
Yeah. So
What's it from?
Thangus had a familiar.
The movie The Crow.
His familiar's name was Ned. It was a hawk.
Okay. Ned the Hawk.
Yeah. Thangus, bless his heart, and Jim, if you watch this VOD,
We love you.
we love you. Thangus had interesting uses for Ned. Ned always seemed to get sent into situations that were not particularly ideal for something with like 1 to 3 hit points.
So good.
So,
So Ned went poof a lot.
well, I think Jim eventually got to the point where he just wasn't using Ned like that.
Ah, I see.
So he sent Ned to try and get a look in the window. The window that Seeker and Thanwyn had identified the guards had like their barracks in.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So
Okay.
Ned ate a crossbow bolt.
Sure. Went poof.
At almost point blank. Went poof. And fun fact, when the guards see a hawk who's just like perched on their window looking in, usually triggers that something is up. So when the party opened the front door, they were ready. Cadence was like, I got this new staff. I am gonna whack people with it. So,
Yeah, of course.
of course, as one does. So sorry guys, just 1 second.
Doing stuff.
I'm committed to eat before tomorrow's stream.
Do your
So
Hey,
thing.
live your best life.
Yeah.
yep.
I'm eating Girl Guide cookies.
Ooh, is it the minty ones?
Mm-hmm.
Are you dipping it in the caramel?
I finished all the caramel.
Oh.
So we'll do this last fight, and then we're gonna switch gears to the UA thing. But so
Okay.
Cadence is like, I got this awesome staff. I'm gonna go and smash this guy Essil with it. He's a bad guy. He's the other like crime lord guy. Gotta hit him with the cool
Sure.
new staff.
Sure.
The area gets me. Yeah.
Yeah, why
You're-
not?
We remember the part where Cadence like goes up and down more than a yo-yo. So
Yeah, but fun new staff.
yeah, so fun new staff, whack, and then the guy's like, oh, so that's where it's been. And
Oh, not great.
yeah, then Cadence spent a bit of time unconscious, at which point Essel was like, I'll take that, thank you,
Yoink.
and combined it with the fancy piece of staff that he had.
Oh no.
Oh no. And
Also, Amalia were siblings who were fighting over the staff for eternity. And we delivered it on a silver platter.
So you came up with all of this in one session, on
Yeah.
the fly.
Yeah.
the
I'm much
combat,
more
the combat's carried over, but I came up with the premise in 1 second.
Yeah, I am much more terrified of you than I was before, and I will not making any further edits to my characters.
So they kill off all the guards, but Essil gets away with the staff. You may remember a particular staff in a recent version of Darkwind that controlled a large portion of orcs.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then a demon named Essel, who was, I don't know, stalking Freyr through the streets not too long ago in Twinstop,
Hmm.
right up until he got killed by Tooth V2 and Freyr. Yeah. Consequences.
You know, Lucas has a lot of version 2 characters.
So I was playing Tooth. Tooth gave up his life so that Freyr could live. Freyr had died and he was dead. And we did not have the power to revive him. So Tooth made a pact with a Fae. The Fae said, yep, I'll revive him, but there'll be a cost. And Tooth is always like the group first, right? He's sort of the alpha and they're the pups in his mind.
Yeah.
And so then Tooth became a tree. And I was happily playing Thaddeus and things were fine, but we had just done something phenomenal that was going to affect like a lot of the timelines. So Trevor just, he contacts me one day. He's like, hey, dude, I want to do something cool in D&D. How would you like to play Tooth again? But not like and then we started talking about it because I'm good for anything, man. Like it's D&D, I'm up for
Just
whatever.
not the barbarian that he was.
Yeah, well, okay, so honestly, we talked about it and I felt that, Kodo was playing Chrome really well and
Yeah.
Chrome was sort of filling that need. And we didn't need like another barbarian, you know what I mean? Because my shtick was very similar to his. So I thought, okay, why don't I, change gears and do a different kind of Tooth? So that's
Okay.
Tooth 2.0.
All right. On that note,
Got it.
we are going to pause the story so far,
Okay.
and we are going to switch over to super fun, awesome UA discussion.
I think he's trying to figure out the audio.
We'll get you in on Discord.
But I'm gonna drop out for the UA section.
Okay.
I'll watch from afar. But yeah, this was fun. Thanks for having me on for the going over what happened. So, have a good night, guys.
Take care, Shannon.
See
Thanks
you
for
later.
coming.
Nice,
Bye.
Shannon.
All right. Update a stream title. To get Jason in audio spot.
he may not have the role.
Yeah, I just told him to join any of the voice chats, and I came in.
Yay.
There we go.
Okay, I can hear that.
Perfect. Welcome in.